of our game design podcast with Hunter and Charles. We had so much fun on the first podcast, we decided to answer more of your questions. So let's get started. My fire elf has a question.
My fire elf?
Yeah, my fire elf. Mm-hmm. When did you realize that this was the field of expertise you wanted to pursue? What sort of education and opportunities did you need to reach it? And how did you ultimately end up on the Sims 2 design team?
How different roads we may have.
Yeah.
Right, you go.
Me go first?
Yeah, you go first.
So I decided I want to be a game designer when I was 3. When I was playing.
Yeah, you did.
When I was yes.
Okay.
I was playing on my Apple IIc or my Atari 2600, and I realized that games were awesome and what I wanted to spend my life making. So I trained mostly in college on creative writing and interface design, and that sort of gave me a little bit of a background. And then I went to grad school at Carnegie Mellon and learned about exactly how games are made and stuff like that. And then I managed to get an internship here at Maxis and went on from there.
That was a great day for Max.
It was, actually.
We were all happy.
It was probably a greater day for me.
Yeah, I have a totally different story, which was that when I got out of college, the games business was still pretty much a bunch of programmers. I got started as an artist, but there weren't any art schools even teaching any computer graphics. This was, 15 years ago. So I got into it after a whole another career, and I needed something new to do, and it turned out that, you could use computers to make pictures, and there were some early programs you could get your hands on, so I experimented with those and got good. I had already been trained as an artist. It wasn't what I took my degree in, but I had some background in it, and I have a big family background in it. And then in the early 90s, there was a little tiny game developer who was making games, and that was normal. Most of the games were being made by little companies back then. And I got a job and worked my way through, and then in 97, I got hired to be the lead art director on this little prototype thing that Maxis was making that didn't even have a name, and that ended up being The Sims. So I kind of fell into it. I became an artist and then became an art director and then evolved into a designer. And so I don't have anywhere near the formal background that Hunter does.
I yearned.
You did? You're a yearner. I blundered.
I started out in outhouse design and worked my way up from there.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was
Job
a
down.
hard road.
I don't have anywhere near the kind of formal background that you two do. With your grad schools and latrine building.
Yeah, it was a family business, but I made it. I made it work for game design.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm speechless.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry. All right, let's
It's okay.
Let's move
It's
on.
okay.
Let's
all right.
Let's just move on.
Okay.
We're
all
good.
right.
I love you guys.
You too, man.
All right. So,
Oh.
DCassia52 asks, okay, do you guys play The Sims in your free time? Do you guys ever download custom stuff that the players of the simming community make? And why do you guys like llamas so much?
Oh, many questions in there.
Yeah.
You got 3 for 1.
We did. It was a bargain. Sims on our free time. Well, we do play the Sims a lot at work.
This free time thing is really funny.
Yeah, it's an amusing concept in and of itself. Much of our job is playing the game.
Yeah.
As designers, we are tasked continually with playing the game, suggesting improvements, playing the game again, tweaking this, testing that, and getting the game to be as good as it can be. So really it's our job at times to play The Sims.
So when we do get free time, I'm going to admit, when I do get free time, I often am not playing the game. I'm often out doing, normal things in my life, and that's what really allows me to come and think up new things to put in the game and bring it back to the game. I will admit that, sometimes when I'm showing the game to a friend or a relative who haven't seen it, I'll get a little carried away and lose a couple of hours. It's still very addictive. But I've been making the game for a better part of a decade now, so I'm finding that reading a book or even interacting with my wife is often preferable.
And wise.
Yes, wise, certainly wise.
Honey, I'm home. I'm gonna
remember me?
The Sims 2.
Yeah, exactly. Nice to see ya.
Couldn't have my fill at work today.
Would you guys download custom stuff at The Sims?
I do download custom stuff sometimes, particularly skins. I love skins. A lot of the characters that are from pop culture, like very sci-fi things, I like to download and check out in the game, and tell stories with.
Yeah,
Charles.
I have a Stalin skin that I downloaded, which I really like. I just like this idea of Stalin living in this total middle class suburban environment.
And
It's hilarious.
It's like a gas station attendant.
Yeah. I wrote a whole backstory about how he faked his own death in 1953 and then moved to Pleasant View. Mm-hmm. And
It's a good place.
Yeah, he's doing really well in marketing.
Wow, that's great. Good old Stalin.
Yeah.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about the longest?
Oh yeah, that goes way, way, way back. I mean, that goes back to original SimCity.
SimCity.
Yeah, Llama Speed, as I recall.
Yeah,
It was
Turtle Speed, Rabbit Speed, and Llama Speed.
No, Turtle
No.
Speed, Llama
Speed.
Speed, and Rabbit Speed.
Right.
So that's really a Will Wright thing. And I have to admit, it was already fully entrenched in Access culture when I joined. So really, you should ask Will. That would be Will Wright.
Ooh.
Little Pip's mother asked, what has been the biggest design challenge to date?
I think personally, it's a matter of who you talk to. Like a big challenge to me is I'm learning a lot about architecture, stuff that I don't know a thing about, and I'm like the balustrades or the
Entablature.
or the entablature. Very exciting. Just things that I was never really introduced to, and that I have to learn as part of. Oh, thank the watch alarm,
Yeah.
Charles London.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's time.
What's hard for you?
I think one of the biggest design challenges for me is to take complex, detailed, real-life systems and phenomenon and to abstract them down to something that still feels rich in the game and yet is easy to play and easy to understand. And I feel like there are designers we have here who do that much better than I do. And so for me, a big design challenge has been to think small, to think clearly, and to still get it to feel big. I think in the base game, arriving at wants and fears.
That was not an easy road.
That was not an easy road. That was an enormously challenging thing. And
How do you model human desire
yeah,
in a game?
Yeah, and our design lead Matt Brown had a tremendous facility for sort of thinking about iconic, simple things that people can do that represent much more complex stuff. But it took hours and hours and hours and hours of wrangling and talking and meetings, and very, very painful to try to essentially take a game, make the same game over again, and yet make it bigger and more rich and give something new to it. That feature was the biggest design challenge to date.
All right, guys. Iceman Haran 101 asks, I just have to ask, why Bella? Why not Brandy Brooke or her child? What's so special about Bella? But of course, I'd be asking, why Brandy Brooke? Why not Bella if you made Brandy disappear?
Yeah, well, Bella's such a cult figure among the Sims 1 community. We just felt that she has sort of a romantic air about her, and we just wanted to
Make way for new heroes.
and yet preserve her for those who really love her. You know, it's sort of a David Lynch-like storyline without the dancing, deformed people.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Little Mini 1000 asks, hey design team, it must be really cool designing all the stuff that goes into the game, but if you guys weren't designers, what do you think you'd be doing? Did you actually want to be a designer when you left school, and what's your favorite thing that you've designed?
Wow, that's a lot of questions.
It is.
I would probably... Well, it's hard to say. I mean, I used to be in the restaurant business, and I left that to do this. But if I wasn't doing this, I'd probably still be doing that, because I really love it.
Someday, I guarantee you, Charles London's restaurant will be one of the finest establishments in the nation.
Oh, you have just scored yourself a discount dessert, my friend.
A coupon?
Yep.
A restaurant coupon
in
in
your-
the likes of nightlife?
It's in the mail.
Yes.
Consider it done.
What about you, Hunter? What would you be doing?
Probably writing short fiction.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be writing short fiction. What he said.
Okay. I really like writing. That wasn't a joke answer. You can smile on your face.
I know, I'm a jerk.
Yeah, he is a jerk. Ripping up my coupon for your stupid restaurant.
Know-It-All Sim asks, what inspired you to make the cow plant? I'm rather curious.
That was a group effort, to be sure.
It was insane. It just popped out.
There were 4 of us in a room, and it was like, well, how about we make a man-eating plant? And then it was like, what if it had the head of a cow?
Or what if it had an udder under its
and then
chin
you milked
could
it and
drink people?
Ah! Woo!
Yeah, and then it was definitely one of the more unpremeditated objects.
It's really a non sequitur, but I still like it.
Yeah, and some of our best stuff comes out that way. I think when we try really, really hard, you get something that's a little forced.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. If you have any more questions, please post them on the Sims2.com BBS. Also, you can thank Charles and Hunter for joining us on our podcast. Have a good one, guys.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'm speechless.
I'm going to cry.